Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Ajoe21love, here with another edition of Sports Over Topics. Good to be back here for the podcast. It's very good seeing, well, kind of it was a delay, was the week 3 review for the NFL season. Was a good slate of games this past weekend, starting from Thursday with the Browns and Steelers to Sunday. We had a boatload of really good games. On Monday which was not too shabby between the Cowboys and Giants, but bunch to talk about, along with the Pro Bowl being changed, Myles Garrett's situation, of course, Week 4 predictions. But let's not waste too much time, and let's get into it. For starters, shall we? But first, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more sports review topics, videos, you can find them on the homepage. Click this subscription there in the corner. Of course, pro wrestling reviews are on the channel as well. If you're into that and you want to see those videos alongside, click that tab right in the corner. But nonetheless, let's dive into it, shall we? Week 3. Week 3 was talk about this has been a unique way to start the season, first 3 weeks, and that's what you like to see as a football fan. It's been a joy to watch these first 3 weeks. Pretty exciting. Only 3 weeks into the season, and we only have 2 teams that are undefeated. The Dolphins and the Eagles, the only 2 teams undefeated, both at 3-0. Only 2 teams that are winless currently. We got the Texans 0-2-1, and we got the Raiders 0-3, which I am pleasantly surprised by. If you follow the podcast, you'll know that I am pleasantly surprised that the Raiders are 0-3. But before we get into those teams, let's get into the slate of games that happened this past weekend. For starters, Browns Steelers. Browns won. Now, I did better on this week. First winning week of picks this past weekend of the season. 10-6. Now if you're asking why am I 10-6, why am I bumped up from a little bit, that's because, the game I was conflicted most about from this past weekend was the Titans and the Raiders. And I went back and forth after the last episode, and that's on me. I didn't say it with full conviction as I picked the Raiders, but going back and forth, I changed my mind and went with the Titans. So, alas, I am 10-6 for this week, but either way, it's good to be back in a winning week. I'll tell you that much. But, yeah. Anyways, Browns-Steelers. Browns won 29-17. You know, the Browns have the formula. They are executing the formula well. People realize, and me as well, knew that this roster was loaded with talent. Loaded. And, they played their strengths, and they can basically salvage, if not do more with it for their season without Deshaun Watson until he gets ready. But, yeah, was a spectacular night from Chubb or Hunt, but Jacoby Brissett did his job once again, and they got the win. Amari Cooper, the first Browns receiver to have back-to-back 100-yard games since Josh Gordon in 2013, when he had that great season for him, a part of the Browns. But yeah, good for Amari Cooper, good for Jacoby Brissett. They got it done. And that defense still doing well. Of course, we'll talk about arguably the most important piece of that defense in a sec. But yeah, solid for the Browns. As for Steelers, Mitch Trubisky he did okay. He didn't do horrible, and he didn't do great. He did okay. But, after really such a high, being the Bengals in overtime, week 1, and then the last 2 games for the Steelers have not looked pretty. It's looked gritty. And, without TJ Watt on that defense, the defense has not been to par, even without TJ so far the last 2 weeks. Now, still early in this season, they can still find a way. They play the Jets on Sunday, but they got to do something, especially in that division, because right now, the team I'm least confident about is the Steelers. And that's strange to say, but it's true. Some games on Sunday, but first talk about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, he was in a car accident the other day with a lady passenger in the car, and fortunately for him, it's crazy. In 2014, Cam Newton was in a similar situation when his car flipped over a few times, and luckily for him, it was only a minor back issue, and they finished with a losing season, but still made the playoffs. Here we have another important player in the NFL, and Myles Garrett, thankfully, nothing too serious. His car did flip over a few times, but thankfully he's okay. Did suffer some injuries. His status for week 4 against the Falcons is unknown, but good that he's okay, and good for the Browns also as well. Sunday we had some interesting performances for starters. Bears-Texans. You know, the Bears are hanging around. They're in there. You know, they are now 2-1 after a gritty win over the Texans. David Montgomery went down. Khalil Herbert really shined. 157 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Khalil Herbert, the best thing besides their defense is that running game of the Bears, that two-head monster, Montgomery and Herbert. And Justin Fields didn't have a great day. He had a subpar day, really, against Texans, but they got done, and they're 2-1, so good for them. Roquan Smith had a clutch interception off Davis Mills, which set the game-winning field goal, and good on good. As far as the Texans go, Lovie Smith's revenge game in Chicago was decent. I like some things Mills does, gotta give him a chance, but it doesn't really seem like he is that guy. And, it's unfortunate because he was right there in the middle, even though he had no business being a part of it. Part of the Deshaun Watson Texans situation with him being drafted by the Texans, and sad to see, but they don't have a lot of talent on the team. And Mills, he's shown some bright spots, but at the same time, it's not very exciting. I was intrigued by some of their draft picks, but it's not really working. Chiefs Colts, Colts rallied back, got a much needed victory over the Chiefs. 2017 rallied back to win, and Matt Ryan. Now, the Colts, it's a two-way street because Matt Ryan, week 1, when they rallied back to tie against the Texans, had over 350 yards. This week, he rallied back, had a solid day. Defense kept him into it. Now, having back Alec Pierce, he made some good plays. Michael or Pittman was very good for him as well. I am a little concerned about Jonathan Taylor, though. Jonathan Taylor has not had a great start. And, again, it's a long season, but it's not looking great. Not looking great. Bills Dolphins was a tight one. Very tight. 21-19. Now, if you look at the stats, you'll be mind blown how the Dolphins won this. But at the same time, the Dolphins defense, very good. Very good. They have solid playmakers all around. Of course, headlined by the main Xavier Howard in the back end. Number one corner. Jalen Phillips. You got Ogba. You got some talented studs on that crew. And it's joy to see in Miami. Buffalo had many chances to win that game, but blew it. But good for the Dolphins, good for Tua, to start 3-0. Can't really complain, and just great to see for them, and great to see how Tua has gotten heat for the last. Credit. I put them in the predictions. I predicted them to have a poor record because, I did not believe in Tua yet. But the last 2 weeks have opened up my eyes, and Tua is starting to show that, okay, I was probably wrong. Or likely wrong. Either way, good for the Dolphins. Good. Waddle didn't have a great day, nor did Tyreek Hill, but they found a way. That was important. Raiders beat the Titans, or Raiders lost to the Titans, I should say, 24-22. I like for the Titans, this is something they need to do more. They need to orchestrate Derrick Henry more into the pass game. He had over 150 combined yards, or 140. He had 85 on the ground. It wasn't a big Derrick Henry type of day, but he is a threat, and that's what I like to see. Ryan Tannehill seems to be getting a bit more comfortable. He gave some love to Robert Woods. When you have basically a new receiving core, you got Robert Woods, you got Treylon Burks, you got Austin Hooper. It's going to take a bit for them to gel together. But good to see for Titans to get rolling. Raiders, like the last 2 games, had their chances, but couldn't come down with it in the end. Bucks Packers. Really need to say it was an ugly game. 14-12. If you had told somebody that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady were both quarterbacking this game, and you told them the score, they would probably be laughing at you. If you're a football fan and you didn't hear about this game on Sunday. But talk about a weird contest because, look, there's no secret to what the injuries have happened in Tampa Bay. And they had no Mike Evans suspended, no Chris Godwin, he was hurt, no Julio, hurt. So automatically you're down your top three. Down to Russell Gage, Cole Beasley, who just signed, Tyler Johnson, young guy, Kyle Rudolph, just signed this year, Cameron Brate, stud, but it's not really a number one tight end. I mean, talk about inexperience, and Tom Brady's not at the level anymore. I mean, he still was a couple years ago, but he's not on that level anymore where he can carry an offense. But defense stuck around against Packers, which was kind of fulfilling if you're a Bucs fan. That defense was still there. The offense just was in the gutter. Now, the good news is for the Bucs, Mike Evans will get back after week 4 against the Chiefs, but it's still a bit of an unknown. I mean, at one point, do they start to call Gronk? I'm just curious because they have not scored 20 points in 3 games. So, just feels a bit concerning. As for the Packers, they were also without Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson. So, I mean, credit. Packers were empty-handed as well, but that run game, still arguably the best duo at running back in the league this season, got it done. And Aaron Rodgers, still able to buy time with plays. Was able to pull it out at the end. So, good for them. I'm still, though, not convinced about the Packers offense either. This was my reaction when I saw the Broncos 49ers highlights for Sunday night. 11-10. Broncos win over 49ers. 11-10. I mean, both defenses were in a bind. It was 7-5 for a good amount of time. But, Jimmy G It wasn't as bad as Dan Orlovsky, but it was still pretty bad. Where he stepped out of the end zone, and in a way, it was a blessing in disguise because he gave up 2 points, but considering what happened afterwards, if he didn't step out of bounds, it would have been a pick six for Bradley Chubb. So, I mean, ay, ay, ay. But then, at the end, Russell Wilson and the Broncos found a way to drive down, touchdown, Melvin Gordon, and they pulled ahead. Defense, I will say for the Broncos, their defense has been stout, has been consistent, but their offense has been struggling and shaky. 16, 16, and 11. A Russell Wilson based offense should not have to struggle to score 20 points a game. That's just bizarre. But Nathaniel Hackett, they're 2-1. Credit, they're 2-1. But and if it wasn't for shaky moments in Seattle, it would be 3-0. But they're off. They feel more like a defensive team at this point of the season. And then Monday nights, the Cowboys continue to groove with Cooper Rush. They won 23-16 over the Giants, knocking them from 2-0 to 2-1. But the Cowboys are 2-0 under Cooper Rush starting. It wasn't a pretty game by any means. Daniel Jones did some nice things. Saquon Barkley seems to be healthy, really healthy again. Like to see. But the offensive line is still struggling for the Giants. And Jones had run much more than I think he wanted to. And he did have some nice runs. But ultimately, it was Strugglesville really for that Giants offensive line. And Cowboys were able to power through. Again, not a pretty day by Cooper Rush, but efficient. They got it done. And Tony Pollard, Zeke, they both got it done. So good for the Cowboys. Good for them. And I will say this before I get into picks. I don't want to waste too much time for week 4. But Rams, Cardinals. Good to see J.J. Watt, despite his brother being injured, getting another sack. He already has more sacks than last season. 2 sacks. Credit start of the season, but great to see for JJ. And the Eagles blew out the Commanders. I mean, yeah. Eagles are looking good. And the Jaguars, very much the same. Very much looking like a team of optimism. All right. With that little chimey away from week 3, let's get into week 4 predictions, shall we? Let's get into them. If only I can find a pen or something. Shoot. Oh. Found one. Anyways, let's get into it. We got some good games lined up for this weekend. Starting with Thursday Night Football, got another good one. Or intriguing one. Dolphins at Bengals. Bengals 4-point favorites. Dolphins 3-0. Tua did have an injury in a back issue against the Bills, but came back, did enough, and they won the game by 2. Bengals rallied back in much needed fashion. They beat the Jets 27-12. Joe Burrow looked more confident. Tua versus Burrow. How healthy is Tua? That back issue. I mean, it is dicey because we know with Tua. Look, Tua versus Teddy Bridgewater. That is a drop off because we know Teddy is good, but he doesn't really push the ball down the field as Tua has shown has the capacity to do so. And with Hill and Waddle, you got to take your chances. But I just don't see the Bengals dropping to 1-3. They got to get back to 500, especially in that division, and make it competitive. So I'm going to say this is a dicey one, but they get it done. Bengals win. And this pen doesn't work. Oh, well. Shoot. Okay, another pen. Yep, this happened, folks. I'm having struggles with my writing utensils. Okay, there's a pencil. Might as well try. But I got the Bengals win here. Okay, it works. 24-21. Dolphins cover, but Bengals get the victory. Tie one. Our first international game of the season. Vikings going to London to play the Saints. No home field advantage pretty much here. Vikings 2.5-point favorites. Whether or not now this is significant, but whether or not Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry played, because Jarvis Landry came out with an injury on Sunday versus the Panthers, and Michael Thomas, he has looked very good. First 3 weeks of the season for the Saints in his return, but they don't practice. I mean, it is a concern, especially when the news of James Winston having those injuries in his back. So I'm going with the Vikings to win this here 24-19 against the Saints in London. Browns going to Atlanta. This one of the sneaky games of the day, pretty much, or the week. Browns 1.5 point favorites on the road. The Falcons had a great effort against Seattle in Seattle on Sunday. You know, Marcus Mariota did well. Cordero Patterson is, you have to say, one of the better running backs in the league right now. This is Cordero Patterson. Kyle Pitts, they gave him more of the ball. That's what they need to. Drake London making plays. I mean, they are a team to watch out for in the NFC. Browns, you know, they know their goal. They know, and I think Jacoby Brissett knows it now, that they are confident with him. They can show out. And I think Amari Cooper, Harrison Bryant, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, it could be fireworks in Atlanta. But I'm going to say Browns win narrowly, but they win 30-24. Yeah, I changed my score 30-24 over the Falcons. A good one, though, in Atlanta. This should be a good one, though, as well. Bills at Ravens. Bills 3-point favorites. You know, Lamar definitely showed up against Patriots again. And needed to. As the 137-26. The Bills, like we said, had many opportunities to seal the door or win in Miami on Sunday, but failed to do so. You know, despite the turnovers and everything, the Bills only surrendered 21 points. And the Ravens' defense is a bit concerning, I think, ultimately. And I think when you look at the offenses, both are high powered, both can scare you. But provided the better defense, I'm going to go with the Bills here to rebound and get done 35-26 in Baltimore. or actually 30. Yeah, 35-28 in Baltimore. Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys 3.5 point favorites. You know, I'm struggling a little bit with the Commanders because I thought, and so subject change, if they can play it right and they can possibly win the division, have a chance, or become a playoff team. After that thrilling end against Jags week 1, you know, they tried coming back for the Lions and it looked kind of uninspiring for the Eagles. Their offense has better talent than what the results have shown. But I'm running with the top hot hand here and say the Cowboys win here 26-24 and move to 3-1. Sounds strange with Cooper Rush, but they 3-1. Seahawks and Lions. Both teams had solid efforts Sunday, but came up short. You know, Lions, I'm encouraged by. Seahawks, I will say, had a good performance on Sunday, but I'm a little inspired though. But I'm going with the Lions here to get their second dub this season. Win 27-20 in Detroit. Yeah. Chargers at Texans. Chargers 5.5 point favorites. Texans last season, they got this upset. And people did not see it coming. You know, question is who's healthy? Who's healthy for the Chargers? I mean, Justin Herbert played that entire game with his rib cartilage. Joey Bosa now on IR. So that kind of takes out a dynamic in the Khalil Mack Joey Bosa train. Keenan Allen is still dinged up. Mike Evans, still there, but no Rashawn Slater for the rest of the season. I don't know. I'm a bit concerned about. Look, I was concerned last week and went with Jaguars because I was confident. Am I confident in Davis Mills and the offense of the Texans? I'm going to have to say no. So if Chase Daniel, I'm going to say they still get done. 21 to 14. Chargers win. Titans at Colts. This is intriguing. Both had their first wins of the season on Sunday. Titans over Raiders, Colts over the Chiefs. Titans seemingly have found a way to get Derrick Henry more involved, more out of the backfield, running the ball, feed the beast. I like to see. And Ryan Tannehill seemed like he's building more and more chemistry with his new receivers, which you like to see. With the Colts, Ryan Tannehill, week 1, found a way to get him back in. Week 3, got him back in. However, if I must say, they only scored 20 points both times. With the Titans, they should have won week 1 against Giants. Rally and held the lead versus the Raiders on Sunday. I'm going to go with the Titans here. They get the win. Better coach, better team. More confidence in Titans win 28-21 in Indianapolis. Bears at Giants. Bears. By the way, Colts were a 3-point favorite. Giants 3-point favorites at home. Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau both returned for the Giants. But little inspiring for the Cowboys, I will say. Someone went up the 23 points. Bears, have a solid defense, and this is crazy about 2-1 teams, Bears and Giants. Running game, I don't know why I have more faith in the Bears right now than Giants, so I'm going with them. 2016. In East Rutherford. This is going to be fun. The Jaguars versus the Eagles. Eagles 6.5-point favorites. Jags are a good football team. That's what I've garnered for the last 2 weeks. They are a good football team. The Eagles have been very good. Jalen Hurts is getting more comfortable, it seems, week by week. The run game, having A.J. Brown, Quez Watkins, and Devontae Smith at receiver. They got a solid trio. And their defense, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay. They got some suds. Kobe Dean, they drafted. They got studs all around that team. Jaguars, they got studs as well. Trevor Lawrence is showing why in the last 2 weeks. Why, even against Washington, why he was the first overall pick of last year. and you love that development. The X factor, though, is Doug Peterson. Returning to Philadelphia. Ay, ay, ay. This tough, because both have studs on offense and defense lines. Luke Fortner is doing really well for the Jaguars on the offensive line. He is catching people's eyes out of Kentucky. I mean, this is going to be a good one. You know, but I think in Philly, I'm going with Jaguars to win here 34-30 in Philadelphia. Doug Peterson's revenge game. I mean, I'm going with it. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. That's going to be a fun one. Jets at Steelers. Steelers 3.5-point favorites. So Mitch Trubisky will start again. Zach Wilson has a chance to start on Sunday. This feels though like a Kenny Pickett thrust it into the fall game. You know, if Trubisky's not doing well, they will thrust in Pickett. I'm going to say, though, this is a gritty performance by the Steelers, and they get it done 20-17 over Jets. This just feels like a win they have to have. Whether it's Trubisky, whether it's Kenny, they got to get it done. Cardinals at Panthers. Panthers 1.5-point favorites at home. At home. Doesn't feel too convincing. You know, Panthers got the much-needed win against the Saints. But, you know, it was only 22 points and didn't feel too convincing, as I would have hoped if I was a Panthers fan. You know, Christian McCaffrey's lucky he's still healthy, but I'm not feeling a good vibe from the offense that I should be from the Panthers. But the Cardinals, they were still in it versus the Rams as much they could. You know, and the Panthers don't have an Aaron Donald. They do not have a Jalen Ramsey. Brian Burns is pretty good, but he's obviously not any of them. Kyle Murray, they still without DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm saying they find a way. They find a way. To win this 26 to 22. In Carolina, they get it done. Patriots at Packers. Packers 10.5-point favorites. The only double figure line of the week. Mac Jones' injury is concerning. Although he has shown good signs the last couple days, so we'll see. But whether it's him, whether it's Ryan Hoyer, Packers defense is still stout. It's still stout. And they still have the two running backs. They still have Aaron Rodgers to get something done. I'm going to say they slightly cover. In the Patriots, but still, Packers win 27-17. I still have not picked Patriots win a game yet, and this is not the week. Maybe if Mac Jones was healthy, I'd have another opinion, but it's not feeling like it. Broncos at the Raiders. This is a strange looking game because Broncos are 2-1, Raiders 0-3. Broncos offense has looked ugly. Barely been able to score 17 around their points. Raiders have been able to score points. Decent amount of points, 19, 23, and 22, but have not been able to keep it. And I think in the black hole, you're 0-3. Favored by 2. They gotta find a way. Because, until the Broncos can score more points, I don't think they can. I think the Raiders will still be able to score at least more points than the Broncos. So I'm going with 21-17. Raiders get their first win of the season. Sunday Night Football, which could take place in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, could take place in U.S. Bank Stadium due to Hurricane Ian. Intriguing. Chiefs, 2-point favorites on the road. Both teams, I have questions about their offense. I just have both questions. Okay, in week 1, it was an explosion by the Chiefs over the Cardinals. An injury-riddled Cardinals team. But 20 offensive points in week 2 against the Chargers. 17 against the Colts. This feels like another ugly game. Mike Evans playing or not. But I'm going with the Chiefs here to win. (23-17) in against Bucks. And then cap off week 4. Intriguing one. Rams at 49ers. 49ers, 2.5-point favorites. It's funny. Before the NFC Championship game, the 49ers had won 6 straight games versus the Rams. But that streak was snapped versus the Rams in the NFC title game. So can the Rams start their win streak of their own versus the 49ers on Monday? I'm going to say it's so. Rams get another victory and find a way. I feel like they're starting to run the ball more. They're starting to get Allen Robinson more involved with Cooper Kupp. And that's a good thinking. So going with the Rams to win 28-24 in the Bay. So good stuff. But those are your predictions for you guys. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you'd like to see more videos, click the subscription there in the corner. Of course, you can find more. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, click the like. Thank you all for joining me. Again, sorry for the delay, but gotta get at least the podcast up some way or another. But yeah. Nonetheless, thank you all. Be safe. I'm Ajoe21love. See you guys getting out here. Peace.